Tonight, you're not just hearing a story. You're stepping into a world where cold, salt, and blood ruled the tide, where survival didn't come from strength, but from obedience, instinct, and endurance. The fire in your heart, it may flicker out before the frostbite reaches your bones. You don't know it yet, but today, this day, will echo through time, through sagas sung by skalds, through legends carved into wood, through your silence, and maybe through your scream. This day will not be remembered for glory. It will be remembered because you endured it. Your name may not live on, but your suffering will. Now close your eyes. The hum of the modern world fades. The air thickens. The wind changes. And somewhere in the void between centuries, you fall. You wake up in the year 893 AD. Your skin is the first to notice. The air tastes like iron. Your breath curls into mist. And beneath you, creaking wood, wet with cold brine. You don't know where you are yet, but your body does. The floor shifts beneath you, rocking side to side. Your back is damp. Your legs are numb. Above you, a sail flaps like a torn drum skin in the wind. Thuk, thuk, thuk. Stretching on a single mast like a wounded wing. You squint into the light. The sky is pale gray. No sun, no warmth, only clouds and gulls screaming as if they know what's coming. You are no one here. No title, no name, but your hands are calloused. Your tunic is scratchy wool. Your hair smells like smoke and fish oil. You are a Viking, not a warrior, not a raider, not yet. You're just another set of shoulders, hunched beneath a rawhide sail, sailing toward someone else's war. Let the day begin. The Longship breathes beneath you. She is alive, the ship. You can feel it. Every groan of timber, every snap of rope, the rhythmic splash of oars cutting sea like knives. It's as if the dragon head at the bow still remembers what it was forged for. Fear. You try to shift your weight, but you're hemmed in. Men sleep beside you, snoring through beards frozen stiff with salt. One of them coughs. Another mutters in his sleep. The one closest to you holds a rusted axe like it's a lover. The ship lurches. Someone curses. The man beside you wakes and elbows you in the ribs. You say nothing. You don't even know what language to speak. Old Norse dances at the edge of your tongue. Unfamiliar, but urgent. The cold finds you. There is no fire here, only body heat, and that's fading fast. Your boots are soaked. Your wool leggings stick to your skin like wet moss. And the cloak you're wrapped in, it belonged to someone else last week. Someone who didn't survive the last raid. Your teeth begin to chatter. You try to remember how long you've been at sea. 1 day, 3, 10, but memory is slippery here. It dissolves in the salt, like everything else. Breakfast, if you can call it. That a hand slaps your shoulder. You're told, without words, to eat. You reach into a shared pouch. Dried herring, hard as wood. Barley flatbread, damp with mold. And a chunk of smoked whale meat so tough, it might as well be leather. You chew, you gag, you swallow. This isn't a feast from the sagas. This is what keeps you alive. There is no privacy at sea. You crawl toward the edge of the ship to relieve yourself. There is no toilet, only the freezing wind and the risk of falling overboard. One wrong step, and you'll join the sea forever. You wonder how many already have. No prayers, no markers, just gone. A gull lands near the stern and pecks at something red. You don't look. Somewhere ahead, land, the helmsman points. A black line on the horizon. Cliffs, maybe Ireland, maybe Scotland, maybe just another storm-racked isle where the villagers still pray to saints. Where you're going doesn't matter. What matters is what you'll do when you get there. You're not ready. No one is. The man beside you begins sharpening his sayax, a short Viking blade. The sound, scrape, 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 fills your head. You can smell the oil, the metal, the tension. He glances at you. His face is all bone and scars. You look away. You still don't know how to fight. You barely know how to row. And if the raid goes badly, you might be the one left behind, dead or enslaved. You begin to doubt. You clutch the rough wood of the ship's edge. You tell yourself, you'll be fine, but your heart whispers, you're not one of them. They can smell it on you. You don't belong here, and when the blades come out, they'll let you fall. You push the voice away, but it clings, like the cold, like the salt. This day is just beginning. You will march through villages whose names you can't pronounce. You will burn what others built. You will fight or freeze or flee. And if you survive, the sea will take you back again. But that's later. For now, you tighten your cloak. You grip the oar, and you row. Row like the gods are watching. Row like the man beside you doesn't already plan to leave you behind. Row, because in this world, moving is the only way to stay alive. Tomorrow's story will be carved in blood or silence. But today, you are here, and that will have to be enough. Before your eyes fully open, something burns your nose. Not fire, not smoke. It's the rotting wool, rotting fish, rotting leather soaked with seawater, sun, and sweat. You're buried beneath it. Someone else's cloak, not clean, not dry, is draped over your face. It smells like a dead dog soaked in salt. You shove it off. Cold air slaps your face. The wind shrieks like a scorned ghost. And suddenly, you remember where you are. A Viking longship, mid-voyage, North Atlantic. You sit up, but the ship lurches violently, nearly throwing you into a pile of limbs and ropes beside you. Your head pounds. Your spine aches. Your throat is raw from the salt. The first lesson hits you. The North Sea does not care about your body. It breaks you before you even reach battle. You look around. Every man is still curled in sleep or pretending. No one talks in the morning. They conserve warmth, strength, and spirit. The youngest among them, barely more than a boy, is curled next to a barrel, teeth chattering. No one comforts him. You spot your own reflection in a puddle of seawater pooling in the ship's belly. You look 30, maybe 40, but you know you're younger. Salt has aged you already. A surprise historical truth. Your hands are cracked, bleeding from the oars, from the frost, from hauling ropes and vomiting over the side for days. And here's the truth no saga tells you. Most of these voyages, they weren't glorious raids. They were cold, miserable deliveries, trading walrus tusks, dried fish, and tattered cloth to coastal villages for salt, silver, or barley. You were sold a fantasy, but you've woken up in history, and history is far more cruel. You stand, almost fall. Your legs barely work. Sleep was shallow, wet. You dreamt of falling again and again into dark water. You reach for balance, grasping the mast. The ropes creak like old bones. The sail is stiff with frozen sea spray. The man next to you finally stirs. He doesn't greet you. He spits overboard and starts chewing dried roots. Another man urinates directly into the sea, inches from a pile of rations. You turn your head, not out of manners, but to keep your food down. Rats. You didn't believe it at first, but they're here. 2 of them, small, thin, hungry, scurry over the bundled sailcloth. One disappears under your foot as you shift. No one reacts. Everyone has seen worse. A rat won't kill you, but it will eat your food, or crawl into your cloak at night, or chew your toe if it's the only warm thing left. You begin to understand the sea is not your enemy, the ship is. Breakfast again. Someone passes the sack. Inside, dried herring, sharp and stiff, smoked seal fat, yellow, oily, fermented shark, sour, almost gelatinous. You gag before it even reaches your lips. The smell alone is punishment. But if you don't eat, your hands won't row. And if your hands don't row, the man behind you will slit your throat by nightfall. You chew. Slowly. Salt and rot smear your tongue. You do not speak. No one does. The sky darkens. Suddenly. A wall of mist appears on the horizon. Fast. Too fast. You see the helmsman stand, wide-legged, fearless. He yells something guttural, gesturing for oars. Your heart sinks. Your arms burn already. But there's no room for weakness. You grab the oar. Row, row now. The sea turns, violent waves slam the hull like fists. The ship creaks and flexes, but holds. Everyone rows together. 30 men, 30 lives, one heartbeat. Your hands slip. You feel blisters rip open. But you row, not for honor, not for Odin, for survival. The storm hits. Wind tears at your face. Sea spray blinds your eyes. A wave slams over the bow. Cold, bitter, furious. The man beside you vomits, mid-stroke, and keeps rowing. The helmsman yells again. You can't hear him. You row. Someone screams. Someone slips. But you row. You begin to fracture. Your thoughts scatter like birds in a storm. This isn't what they told me. Where are the gold rings, the feasting halls, the shields in glory? Am I even a Viking, or just meat that rows? The oar digs into your ribs. You row. Death is easy here. A man in the stern goes still. No shout, no ceremony. His eyes remain open, his hand still clenched around the rope. The others don't stop. They wrap his body in sailcloth. One prayer, mumbled. And then they throw him into the sea. You hear the splash. Then, nothing. The ship moves on. He is gone, forgotten before the next wave breaks. The storm fades, but you are changed. When the sky clears, you're soaked, bleeding, and half blind from salt. You look down at your blistered hands. Your body shakes. You've been rowing for hours, or years. Time has no meaning now, but no one speaks. No one congratulates. You survived the storm, but no one cares. This is normal. You're not special. You're just alive, and that might not last long. Closing image. You slump against the hull. Your arms are numb. Your heart is slow. You chew another strip of sour fish, not out of hunger, but to keep your jaw from locking shut in the cold. Far ahead, gulls circle. That could mean land. It could also mean carrion. You close your eyes. You're still rowing in your dreams. Your first task today is simple. Stay alive long enough to reach midday. That sounds easy, doesn't it? But as you stretch your aching arms, as your blistered palms peel open with a sticky pull, as your breath clouds in front of your face in thin, wheezing bursts, you understand. Midday is a lifetime away. The morning begins with orders. A voice snaps from the stern, sharp, cold, hoarse. You don't understand the words, not fully, but the tone is unmistakable. Get up, get moving. You grab the oar again. Your body begs you not to. The wood feels heavier now, even though it hasn't changed. You think about refusing, just for a breath, just a moment. But no one refuses on a Viking longship. Not twice. The man who sat beside you yesterday isn't here today. No one mentions him. Hunger doesn't wait. You didn't eat enough yesterday, or the day before. Now your body feels hollow, like your bones rattle inside a sack of skin. Someone tosses a crust of barley bread toward you. It lands in your lap, hard and stale. You chew slowly. It tastes like salt and mold, but you finish it, even when your gums bleed. You watch a man pour water into his palm. Just a mouthful. You reach for yours. It's brown. You drink it anyway. But the worst part isn't the hunger. It isn't the cold, or the sores on your feet, or the blood that's crusted under your fingernails. It's the eyes, the way they glance at you when you're not looking, the way they lower when you ask a question, the way they narrow when you pause for too long. You don't belong here, and they know. Your thoughts turn dark. You try to row confidently. You try to match the rhythm of the others. You try to blend in, but inside, what if they notice I don't belong here? What if I make a mistake? What if I'm slowing them down? You force your grip tighter. Your blisters scream. Your shoulder snaps with a sick pop. But you row anyway. A test comes. One of the rowers drops his oar. It slides across the planks. Someone swears. The ship rocks off balance. The leader, a broad man with matted braids and a bone pendant around his neck, grabs the fallen oar and throws it across the deck, shouting. Then he turns and looks directly at you. Your heart drops. You weren't the one who dropped it, but you're the outsider, the uncertain one, the one they might blame. He walks toward you, slow, deliberate. You stand. You don't even know why. He stops inches from your chest. The silence is loud. Then he spits and walks away. You weren't worth killing, not yet. But your body trembles, not from cold this time, from shame. The work never ends. When you're not rowing, you clean, not because it matters, but because if you don't, the ship becomes a tomb. You scrub salt crust from the wood. You bail water from the hull. You pour buckets of urine overboard, watching it disappear into the endless gray waves. And when that's done, you sit in silence and watch the sea stretch forever. No land, no birds, no end. The self-doubt builds. You stare at your hands, red, swollen, skinned. You think, I wasn't built for this. I don't belong in this story. I'm not a Viking. And that's when it hits you. They don't care. If you break, they won't stop. If you fall overboard, they won't turn back. If you die in your sleep tonight, they'll roll your body into the sea before breakfast. You are replaceable. And still, you move. Anyway. Why? Not out of courage. Not for gods. Not even for the chance at glory. You move because your body knows something your heart has forgotten. If you stop, you die. So you rise. You grip the oar. And you row. A distant sound. A howl. Faint. High. Drifting over the wind. Wolves? Number voices. Far off. On another ship, perhaps. Or on land. Excitement stirs. The men rise. Some grin. Others spit and roll their shoulders. You hear a whisper pass along the deck. Raiding village soon. Your stomach knots. They cheer. You stay silent. Night creeps in again. The light dims. The sky turns the color of rust. A strange peace settles. Even the waves seem gentler. But inside, you are falling apart. You feel it in your spine, in your fingers, in your silence. You want to speak, to ask what day it is, to say something, anything. But you say nothing, because here, words are weakness, and you have too little left to spare. One final thought before sleep. You lie down beside a stranger. His elbow digs into your ribs. Someone is snoring 2 feet from your face. You look up at the sky, stars barely visible behind the mist, and for just 1 second, you imagine yourself warm, safe, clean, back in a place that doesn't smell like rotting fish and dying men. But that place is gone. There is only here. There is only the ship. There is only tomorrow. And you don't know if you'll survive it. The sea is silent now. Even the oars are still. The Longship drifts slowly under a curtain of fog. No one speaks. No one dares to. A strange stillness has descended over the crew, a quiet you haven't felt since you arrived. Not fear, not fatigue. Something older, reverence. The smell reaches you first. Pine tar, smoke, and the faint sting of blood on old wood. You glance around. The men are gathering at the center of the deck, around a shallow iron bowl. It rests in a carved wooden stand, ringed with animal bones. You realize it now. This ship is not just a vessel. It is a temple. You are pulled to your feet. One of the elders, a broad man with long white hair and faded tattoos, beckons you forward. He doesn't speak your name. You're not sure he knows it, but he points at your chest, and you understand. You must kneel. The sacrifice. A goat is brought forward. Its eyes are wide. Its legs twitch. It knows what's coming. A prayer is murmured, in Old Norse so thick and deep it feels like the ocean itself is speaking. Then the elder draws a curved blade across its neck. The blood spills into the iron bowl. Steam rises. The scent is sharp and metallic, like warm copper coins under your nose. No one looks away. You don't either. They anoint your forehead with blood, with ash, with salt ground into paste. Your eyes burn. You try not to flinch. The elder murmurs something directly to you now, breath hot against your cheek. You are not just a raider. You are the offering. You repeat the words in your mind, not because you believe them, but because everyone else does. And belief here is survival. The ritual blade passes one by one. Each man places his hand upon the same blade, touching it briefly, silently. Some close their eyes. Others whisper prayers. A few kiss it. When it comes to you, the steel is cold. You hesitate, just for a breath. Then you place your palm on it. It bites your skin, a cut no deeper than a whisper. But you bleed, and that's what matters. The core phrase echoes again. You hear it now, murmured by two men nearby, their voices barely louder than breath. You are not just a raider. You are the offering. It echoes through the crew like a rhythm, a pulse, and somewhere deep inside, you begin to believe it too. A distant bell. From across the fog, you hear a church bell. Single, lonely. It tolls 3 times. Somewhere, beyond the mist, is a Christian village. You see the crew stiffen. To them, it's a signal. To you, it's a warning. Your mind races. You think of what you were told, the legends of Viking belief, that Odin gave his eye for knowledge, that the world tree stretches through all the realms, that warriors who die in battle go to Valhalla, feasting forever. But here, it's not glory, it's blood and silence and obedience. You ask yourself once more, do I believe in their gods, or am I just pretending until they stop looking? The answer doesn't matter. You kneel, you obey, you survive. Dawn begins to break. The fog thins. The coastline appears. Black cliffs, a ribbon of trees, and behind them, a small wooden church. Smoke curls from rooftops. Cattle graze in the distance, and every man on this ship stares with one hunger in his eyes, not for food, not for glory, but for proof that the gods are watching, that today's raid, today's blood, will mean something. Before you rise, you are told to speak one word, just one. You do not understand it, but you say it aloud. It tastes like iron in your throat. The men nod. You are one of them now, at least for today. Final image. As the Longship glides closer to the shoreline, as the sun begins to spill gold over the mist. As your heartbeat becomes thunder in your chest, you whisper the words to yourself. You are not just a raider. You are the offering. You don't know what it means, but the gods might, and that's enough for now. The Longship crunches softly onto shore. You don't even notice at first. Your knees are sore. Your hands are numb. Your stomach turns with every heartbeat. But when the others begin to rise, silent and swift, you follow. The keel scrapes against wet sand. The ship groans as it settles into stillness. And for the first time in days, you're not floating anymore. But it doesn't feel like safety. It feels like permission. Permission to march. Permission to destroy. The camp is set without words. No shouting. No arguing. Everyone knows what to do. Tents, if they can be called that, go up in minutes. Thin wool, hide stretched on bone, a small ring of stones for fire. Nothing else. No comfort. No decoration. These men do not prepare for rest. They prepare for aftermath. You try to understand the chain of command. You've seen one man speak more than the rest. Tall, iron-gray hair, gold brooch shaped like a serpent biting its own tail. He never raises his voice, but when he moves, others move too. No titles, no ceremony. But power doesn't need an introduction. You learn quickly. His word is final. He eats first. He chooses the order of attack. And if you speak when he speaks, you'll bleed. There are rules, but not the ones you know. There's no written law, no scrolls, no courts, only honor, only punishment. You saw it yourself that night. A boy, no older than 15, stole extra dried fish from the ration sack. The next morning his hands were bound. No trial, no argument. The elder with the bone pendant cut a strip of skin from his back and rubbed ash into the wound. The boy screamed. No one flinched. That was the justice, and it was done by midday. And still, centuries from now, historians will wonder what the leader's name even meant, whether he was a jarl or just the most brutal among equals. They'll argue about symbols on coins, theories of tribal law, oral tradition. But today, his word decides who eats, who raids, who dies. You think again about where you stand. You have no role, no allies, no family on this boat. If the leader glances at you wrong, you vanish. The man beside you, with missing fingers and a healed-over eye socket, whispers, "Keep your head down. Don't ask. Don't question." You nod. Even that feels dangerous. A council forms around the fire. 4 men, the ones with the sharpest blades, the oldest armor, the quietest mouths. They speak in fragments, not about if they'll raid the village, but how. You try to listen, but the dialect is thick, Old Norse, from a deeper inland tongue. All you understand is the tone, certain, cold, calculating. They're not raiding out of desperation. They're doing it because they can. There is no mercy for mistakes. You see a man stumble while preparing his axe. It slips, hits another's foot. Blood spills. The injured man doesn't cry out. The one who dropped it doesn't apologize. Instead, he grips his own ear and rips the lobe clean off. An offering, a punishment. He throws it into the fire. The fire hisses. No one says a word. You understand now. Vikings don't ask forgiveness. They give it in flesh. The pecking order is brutal. You eat last. You sleep furthest from the fire. You carry the heavy loads without being asked. No one has told you your place, but it's clear. The strong walk ahead. The trusted sleep near the center. The uncertain, you remain near the edge, where cold bites first and blades reach fastest. And yet, something changes in you as night falls, and shadows stretch long across the sand as the fire cracks, and a single man begins to sing a low, broken saga as the scent of pine and blood mingles in the air. You begin to understand why they live this way, not because they love it, but because it's the only way to make sense of a world where nothing is promised. So they carve order from violence, rank from blood, purpose from fear. You think, if I want to survive, I need to belong. And to belong, I need to obey. Final image. You sit with your back to the Longship. The leader speaks quietly beside the fire. The warriors polish their blades. The younger men sleep with weapons in hand. The sky above is starless. The sea behind is silent. You breathe in the cold night air and whisper to yourself, no law protects you. Only power does. And tomorrow, you'll be tested again. You haven't spoken all day. There's no one to speak to. You've learned not to ask questions. You've learned that silence is safer than curiosity. You've learned that your accent, your hesitation, your very presence betray you. So you keep your mouth shut, and your thoughts grow louder. In your hands, the same tool, the same weight, your axe. You've oiled it, wiped it clean, rewrapped the grip, but you still don't trust it. You keep turning it in your palms, feeling the edges, staring into the faint reflection of your own face in the metal. You don't look like them. Not quite. Too smooth, too unsure, too foreign. You clench your jaw. You're supposed to be one of them now. Why doesn't it feel like it? The sun hasn't moved. It just hangs there, bleeding through the clouds in amber stillness. A sky too quiet, a camp too still. No one tells stories. No one sings today. They're saving their breath, saving their strength, saving what little of their souls are left for tomorrow. They're sharpening their blades. And you're trying not to fall apart. Your thoughts spiral quietly. You stare at the fire and feel it burning holes in your thoughts. Maybe I'm not meant for this. Maybe the gods made a mistake. Maybe I was never supposed to wake up here. You press your thumb into your palm until the skin turns white, just to feel something. The cold reaches your bones. Even wrapped in furs, even pressed near the fire, even with breath steaming in front of you, you can't shake the chill. Not just the weather, the emptiness. A cold that begins behind your eyes and spreads downward, curling into your chest, your stomach, your limbs. The cold of not belonging. You watch them from a distance. They gather around their leader again, whispering, praying, preparing. You sit 10 paces back, just out of a circle. You wonder if they notice. You wonder if they care. You wonder if they've already decided not to take you back with them after the raid. You wonder if you're a dead man walking, and they're just too tired to say it out loud. Sleep will not come. You lie down. You close your eyes, but your mind won't let go. Every breath is a question. Every heartbeat a countdown. You think of the village you'll face tomorrow. The children, the fires, the screams. Will you raise your axe or freeze? Will you obey or fall? Your old life feels like a dream. Was there a time you lived differently? You tried to remember the sound of a familiar voice, the smell of clean linen, the taste of warm bread from a clay oven. But all of it feels faded, like smoke, like something that never belonged to you in the first place. You hear someone murmur a prayer. Not to Christ, not to Allah, not to any god you knew. They speak to Odin, to Freyr, to the Valkyries. They ask for strong winds, for clean kills, for a worthy death. You feel something crack deep inside you. You don't want a worthy death. You just want to live. The breaking point. Your chest tightens. You walk away from the fire, away from the others, out into the reeds, the wind, the dark. You drop to your knees. You press your face into your hands. You don't cry. You don't scream. But the silence inside you is screaming. You are not like them. You never were. You are not a raider. You are not the offering. You are nothing. And yet, you stay. You could run into the woods, into the ocean, into the dark, but you don't. Why? Because this is the only world you know now. Because even pain is something. Because even fear is a reason to keep moving. You wipe your face, you stand, and you walk back to the fire. Final image. The others are already asleep, axes by their sides, dreaming of glory or death or both. You lie back down, just outside the circle. Your heart beats too fast. Your hands shake too much. But you're still here. And in this world, that's victory enough. Dawn breaks like a blade. The sky splits open in red and rust. Crows gather along the treetops, silent witnesses to what's coming. The air is heavy with silence, the kind that always comes before violence. Your breath fogs. Your fingers twitch around the axe. Today is the raid. Today is the test. You move with the others, but your heart lags behind. Leather creaks. Boots sink into cold earth. No one looks at you. No one speaks to you, but you feel it. Today, you either become one of them, or you don't return. The village is just ahead. Smoke curls from the chimneys. You see shadows moving between wooden homes. A dog barks in the distance. A child's voice calls out, shrill and oblivious. You grip the axe harder. You've heard stories of glory, of gold, of burning halls and trembling monks. But now that you're here, so close you can smell bread baking, the stories feel like lies. There is no honor in the faces you're about to erase. The signal comes, a raised hand, a guttural word. Then, like lightning hitting dry grass, the line of Vikings explodes into motion. They charge. You're pulled with them, legs stumbling at first, then matching pace. Your blood surges. Adrenaline drowns doubt. Your breath becomes fire in your chest. And suddenly, you are among them. Screams begin, not from warriors, from villagers. Mothers pulling children by the arms. Elders crying out in terror. A man with a pitchfork turns to defend his home, only to be cleaved to the ground in a single swing. You blink. You've never seen a life end so fast. You almost drop your axe. The moment comes. A boy, maybe 15, runs toward you with a dagger in shaking hands. His eyes are wide. His lips are chapped. He's not a soldier. He's just desperate. He lunges. You dodge, barely, and knock the blade from his hand. He stumbles. He falls. Now he's on his knees looking up at you, unarmed. Afraid, human, your axe is raised. Time stops. You hear nothing. Not the shouting, not the fire, not the chaos around you. Just your own breath, just your heartbeat, slow and loud and sickening. This is the moment. Do you obey what's expected of you? Or do you refuse and mark yourself for death? You hear a voice behind you, one of the warriors. Do it. Another shouts. Leave him. Waste of blade. You're frozen. The boy blinks up at you, expecting nothing. Not mercy, not justice, only silence. Your thoughts fracture. You are not just a raider. You are the offering. Maybe I'm not meant for this. Maybe the gods made a mistake. Your hands shake. You can't feel your legs, but you don't move. And then, a third warrior steps forward. Without a word, he brings down his axe. The boy falls, fast, final, faceless. The blood splashes your boots. He looks at you, the warrior, his eyes cold, measuring. Done. He grunts. Next time, don't hesitate. Then walks away. You drop to one knee, not out of grief, not even out of guilt, But because your body can't hold itself up anymore, you stare at the blood on the ground. It seeps into the soil, gone in seconds, as if the boy never existed. Something breaks or hardens. You tell yourself it wasn't your kill. You didn't raise your axe. You didn't choose. But deep down, you know. You let it happen. You were part of it. And silence is not innocence. The loot begins. The village falls quickly. Homes are emptied. Goats roped together. Bread taken. Silver tucked into furs. You see a woman scream as a warrior tears her child from her arms. You turn away, because if you watch, you'll scream too. Smoke rises as the Longship waits. The others chant, laugh, celebrate. But you walk slowly, head lowered, face blank. You don't speak. You don't eat. You don't clean your axe. You sit near the edge of the ship as it rocks gently in the shallows. The blood on your boots is already drying. Final line, segment end teaser. You stare at the shoreline, now fading behind the sail, and you realize what happens next will follow you into legend or oblivion, and you don't yet know which one you deserve. The loot lies scattered across the deck like broken promises. Silver coins, blackened by sea salt and age, clink faintly against each other. Strings of amber beads glint faintly in the low sun. Small trinkets, a carved bone, a stolen brooch, a leather pouch tied tight, all speak of lives once lived, families once whole. You see pieces of faraway worlds here, Byzantine coins, Arabic glass beads, even a silk scarf. Each object tells a story of violence and survival stretching across continents. But this bounty is not free. Every coin and trinket was won with pain. Your hands, blistered, scarred, trembling, hold the weight of this cost. One rusty nail, simple, small, costs a full day of rowing, scrubbing, bailing water. One knife, the edge that cuts flesh and cord, demands 2 days' relentless work, sharpening, oiling, and guarding. Your sweat and blood have already paid these prices. Tools aren't just instruments. They are lifelines. Your axe is more than a weapon. It is a symbol of power and survival. You remember how the carpenter takes the blade, tests the sharpness on a leather strip, then carefully sharpens it on a coarse stone, the grinding sound filling the air. The handle is wrapped with strips of reindeer hide, soaked in oil to keep it from slipping when your hands bleed or freeze. Without this axe, you are defenseless. Without this blade, you are nothing. Life aboard the ship runs on a harsh barter system. There is no king's gold here, no market coins to exchange in comfort, only favors, loyalty, and survival skills. You see men trading old fish for better firewood, knives for promises of protection, silence for acceptance. Sometimes the currency is darker, a favor given to cover a past mistake, a secret kept in exchange for life. You wonder quietly to yourself, how many human lives are really worth a pair of worn leather shoes? The fire's glow flickers on the faces of your crewmates as they argue. Some men quarrel fiercely over who should take the largest share of silver coins. Others wrestle quietly for the last morsel of salted meat, something that will keep their stomachs from gnawing at them through another cold night. You watch, feeling the invisible web of debts and favors tightening around everyone, including yourself. And then comes a shocking lesson. You overhear talk of slaves, living, breathing people, treated like goods. Women, children, men, all bought, sold, traded across the Viking world. The price of a slave can be a sword, a horse, or a handful of silver coins. Some slaves work aboard the ship. Some are taken as raiding spoils to be sold far away. The cruel truth dawns. This raid, this bloodshed, was never about honor or glory alone. It was about profit, about economics built on suffering. The ship's carpenter approaches you quietly. His hands are cracked and stained with tar and sweat. He taps your axe handle, giving a small nod of respect. No word spoken. You understand. Your tools are your future, your only guarantee in a world ruled by steel and blood. The night falls like a curtain. The ship creaks and groans as it rocks gently on dark waves. The moon casts silver shadows over the scattered loot. You sit alone, cradling your axe. The cold night air wraps around you like a shroud. Every coin glints coldly in the moonlight, empty, lifeless. They are the price paid by others, by lives stolen. You wonder in silence, what is the true cost of survival? Am I just another price paid in this endless ledger? You think back on what brought you here. Was it hunger, desperation, the lure of adventure, or something darker, a need to escape a past you cannot outrun? The weight of your axe suddenly feels heavier. You inspect your gear carefully. Your clothes are patched with mismatched scraps of fabric. Your boots are soaked and worn thin. Your belt holds the few tools you trust, a flint, a whetstone, a small pouch of salt. Without these, you'd be nothing. Without these, survival is impossible. Around you, the crew prepares for the next voyage. Men clean their weapons with grim efficiency. Others mend torn sails or patch the ship's wooden hull. The rhythm is unbroken, work replacing exhaustion. No words about what comes next. No talk of mercy. You realize now, the Longship isn't just a vessel for travel. It is a machine built on endurance, pain, and relentless efficiency. Each man a cog turning to keep it moving forward. You are part of it, whether you want to be or not. You think of the stories told back home, stories of Viking honor, glory, and fearless adventure. But here, on the deck, beneath the stars, you see the truth. A brutal economy, a harsh system where every gain demands a sacrifice, a world where mercy is a luxury no one can afford. Your thoughts circle back to the present moment. You feel the cold sea breeze biting through your clothes. You hear the faint cries of seagulls above. You smell the thick salt air mixed with smoke and blood. You clutch your axe tighter. You are no longer an outsider. You are part of this world, and it demands its price. Final image. The Longship rocks gently on the dark waves. The fire burns low. The men's faces are hardened by fatigue and necessity, and you sit alone, staring at the cold loot, wondering if any of this is worth the cost. You came here carrying stories of Vikings, fierce warriors with flaming swords, roaring in battle cries, heroes who dared to challenge gods and kings alike, men who lived for glory, honor, and freedom. You imagined the wind rushing past your face as you sailed into adventure, the thrill of the raid, the treasure piled high, the cheers of your comrades after victory. But the real world is different. It is not a song or a legend. It smells of sweat, rotting fish, and human grime. The tang of salt mixes with blood and ash. The sound of battle is not glorious war horns, but desperate screams, the crack of bone, the dull thud of bodies falling. The light of dawn does not bring hope. It brings exhaustion, hunger, fear. You stare at your axe blade. Once sharp, it is now chipped and dulled by the relentless grind of survival. Rust stains crawl across the metal like slow poison. Every nick, every scratch, tells a story of fights barely won or lost. This is no gleaming symbol of heroism. It is a tool, worn and battered, a necessity to survive one more day. You are not a hero. You are not a myth. You are the consequence of centuries of violence, of broken villages, of stolen lives, of a world that demands blood for gold. You think back to the stories told in your old world. Vikings painted as free spirits, wild and fearless, sailing beyond the edge of maps, living untamed lives beneath endless skies. But the truth here is darker. In the quiet moments between raids, you see the chains, not made of iron, but of rules harsher than any king's law. Chains of hunger that gnaw at your belly. Chains of fear that bind your voice. You watch men silently calculating debts, trading favors, and measuring loyalty in cold glances. The chants and prayers you hear are not about glory. They are desperate pleas to gods who seem silent. Prayers for strength to survive another day. Prayers for mercy that never come. That phrase echoes in your mind, sharper than any blade. You are not just a raider. You are the consequence. And now you cannot escape it. The blood on your hands is not heroic. It is the messy reality. Blood spilled without ceremony. Lives ended without honor. A grim reminder that survival often means sacrificing your soul. Night brings no peace. The cold seeps into your bones. You lie awake, listening to the creak of the ship and the uneven breaths of your comrades. You wonder if any of them truly believe in the myths, or if they hide behind them, like you, to keep the darkness at bay. You look up at the indifferent stars. They offer no guidance, no judgment, just cold light shining on a cold world. You question everything. Was this ever about honor? About bravery? Or was it always just about survival? You see how the stories and reality collide, how the legends gloss over the desperation and cruelty, how the heroes you imagined are replaced by men who barely hold themselves together. You realize something else. The Longship isn't just a vessel for raids. It is a floating prison and a crucible, a place where hope is forged and broken every day. You see the faces around you, the hardened eyes, the worn skin, the silent judgments. They are survivors, but at what cost? The mist rises off the sea, blurring the line between myth and reality, and you stand caught between them. Final image. The Longship cuts through dark waters, its sail torn but steady. Above, the cold stars watch silently. You sit alone, caught in the quiet war between legend and truth, wondering which story will claim you. The sun drips like molten gold over the shattered village. The air hangs heavy, thick with smoke, salt, and something darker, something like the bitter taste of regret. You stand still, feet rooted in the soft, blood-stained earth. Around you, the aftermath sprawls like a terrible painting. Broken wood, smoldering huts, overturned carts, and the scattered remnants of lives abruptly torn apart. Blood coats your hands. Is it yours? Is it another's? The line has blurred. You remember the boy, that desperate, trembling boy with wide eyes who charged at you. Your axe raised, your hesitation, his fall. His eyes haunt you. Even now, after the chaos has died down, you see them, wide, full of fear. A look not of defiance, but of pleading. His life slipped away in the blink of an eye. The gods are silent. No thunder roars. No bolts of lightning scorch the sky. Only the steady, cold breath of a world that does not judge. You wonder, are they indifferent? Or do they see all, holding you accountable in ways you cannot yet understand? The legacy line returns to you like a shadow following your steps. This day will echo through time. But what kind of echo? A shout of glory or a whisper of regret? Your mind races back through every choice, every hesitation, every act of obedience. You replay moments, The silent nod to the warrior who urged you to kill without mercy. The averted glance when the woman screamed. The shared spoils you claimed but never felt deserving of. Every memory is a weight pressing against your chest. Around you, your comrades erupt in celebration. Ale flows freely. Songs thunder into the smoky sky. Laughter, raw and loud, drowns out the ghosts of the fallen. You watch them, their faces flushed with drink and pride. But inside, a storm rages. The victory feels hollow. The gleam of stolen silver is tarnished by the shadows in your mind. You clutch your axe, but it feels heavier, not a weapon of triumph, but a reminder of cost. Alone by the dying fire, you stare into the flames. They dance and twist like spirits, flickering shadows across your face. You see not the hero you imagined, but a man fractured by violence and choice. Time seems to slow. The crackle of burning wood, the distant cries, the slap of waves against the shore, all blur. Your thoughts spiral through the past hours, days, maybe years. The faces you carry are many. The villagers, innocent, terrified. The raiders, fierce, relentless. The gods, silent watchers in a world indifferent to your pain. The weight of legacy presses down. Will you be remembered as the obedient warrior who followed orders, or as the man who dared to question, who fought against the tide, who chose mercy over blood? The sea laps quietly at the shore. The Longship awaits, its hull creaking, sail torn but ready. It beckons you forward, toward uncertain horizons. You walk slowly toward the ship. The crew's voices fade behind you. The cold night air brushes your skin, prickling like a warning. You think of the brothers in arms around you, their hardened faces, their steely eyes. You wonder if they feel this weight too, or if it is yours alone to bear. A thick fog rolls in from the sea. It swallows the broken village, the firelight, the remnants of the day. You feel the past and future collide in this moment, a crossroads. You whisper to yourself, barely audible, this day will echo through time, but what will it say? Final image, foreshadow callback. You stand on the deck as the Longship sets sail into the fading twilight. The wind catches the tattered sail, sending it billowing like a dark flag. Behind you, the burning village fades into memory. Ahead lies the unknown and your legacy. The pale moon rises slowly over the restless sea. Its silver light spills across the Longship's worn deck, illuminating every knot, every scar in the wood. The day's violent chaos has melted into an uneasy silence. The crashing waves now seem softer, a lullaby for the exhausted. You remain still for a moment. Your body is heavy, weighed down by fatigue, yet your mind spins in restless loops. The heat of the battle, the cries of the fallen, the faces that haunt your dreams, none of it fades. Around you, the crew begins to settle. Some men crouch near the dying embers of the fire, their faces softened by the glow, but eyes clouded with pain and weariness. Others tend to their wounds with trembling hands, crude bandages pressed tight against torn flesh. The scent of salt, smoke, and sweat hangs thick in the air. It's the smell of survival, raw, bitter, unyielding. Your thoughts drift back through the day, like shadows moving across your mind. You see the shattered village, the blood-stained ground, the faces of those you fought alongside, and those you fought against. Through all this, one thought anchors you, your quiet mantra. You were never just a servant. You were the story. The fire crackles softly, its flickering light casting dancing shadows that stretch and shrink on the wooden planks beneath your feet. You begin the ritual of rest. Slowly, methodically, you wrap your cloak tighter around your shoulders, rough wool scraping against your skin. You find a quiet corner, away from the noise and the occasional groan or curse of a wounded man. The cold night air bites at your exposed skin, a reminder that comfort is rare here. Yet even in the chill, there's a strange warmth, the heat of survival, the ember of hope. You listen to the crew settling around you. Breaths grow slow and even. Soft murmurs give way to silence. You are surrounded by men whose faces tell stories of pain, fear, and determination. Above, the stars wheel silently across the sky. They are cold and indifferent, distant watchers to mortal struggles below. In this stillness, you finally hear yourself breathe. Deep, steady, grounded. You let the weight of the day sink, like a heavy stone settling to the ocean floor. Your mind drifts to tomorrow. Will there be another raid, another battle, or will the sea finally grant you a moment's peace? You do not know. Yet, in this fragile calm, you feel something new, a quiet hope. The phrase returns once more, softer now, almost a whisper in a wind. You were never just a servant. You were the story. The ship rocks gently beneath you, cradling you like a child. The sound of waves lapping against the hull is a lullaby, harsh yet comforting. Slowly, sleep begins to claim you. The tension unwinds from your muscles. The roar of fear quiets to a distant murmur. Your last thoughts drift outward, merging with the night. The Longship sails on, cutting through the dark waters, carrying stories of pain and courage, of blood and survival, of lives etched into the endless tides of history. Final image. The moonlight bathes the ship in silver, while you close your eyes, surrendering to the night's embrace, knowing your story and theirs will sail on, echoing through time. Dawn's gentle light spills slowly across the horizon. It creeps like a soft whisper over the endless, restless sea, painting the sky in hues of gold, rose, and delicate lavender. The Longship, weathered and worn, rocks quietly on the calm waters. Each creak of its ancient timbers tells a story, stories of storms weathered, battles fought, and journeys taken. You rise from your resting place, muscles stiff, body weary. The aches of the past day press heavy on your limbs, but beneath the physical exhaustion lies something more elusive, a quiet clarity, a solemn understanding, the weight of what you have lived through, and the life that still pulses within you. Your mind turns inward, peeling back layers of memory and feeling. You have not merely witnessed a day long past. You have been swallowed by it, carried into its depths, lived through its relentless realities. You bear the scars of its cruelty, visible and invisible, etched into your soul. In a hushed tone, barely more than a breath, you speak to yourself. Could I have survived here? Could I have borne the hunger gnawing at my belly, the cold seeping into my bones? Could I have faced the endless violence, the blood, the death, the silence that follows? Could I have found strength in despair, courage in fear? Now this story, this raw, aching history, belongs not to me alone. It belongs to every man and woman who ever stepped aboard a Viking longship, who ever fought to survive a world without mercy, where every breath was a battle, and every moment a test of endurance. And so I ask you, the listener, the traveler across time, could you have survived a single day in this harsh, unyielding world? Could you have held on to your humanity when all around you fell to blood and fire? Would you have been the warrior who carved a legacy, or the silent soul lost beneath the waves? Your answer matters profoundly, because in listening, in feeling, you become part of a living chain, a link that connects past and present, history and memory. You give voice to those long silenced by time. You honor the pain, the sacrifice, the courage. You carry their story forward, breathing life into the echoes of ancient days. The Longship sails on, slicing through the morning mist. Your story joins countless others, whispered by the wind, carried on tides, etched into the endless flow of time. It travels beyond the horizon, beyond memory, into the hearts of those yet to come. Now, storyteller, it is time to rest. Close your eyes. Let the weight of centuries lift from your shoulders. Allow the stillness of this sacred moment to cradle your mind and soul. The night has held you, raw, fragile, worn, but still unbroken. Now sleep claims you gently, like a soft tide pulling you into quiet depths. And when you awaken, may you carry the flame of these stories with you, a light that pierces the darkness, a bridge that spans centuries. May you walk forward, knowing you are part of something greater, a living memory of those who came before. This is more than history. It is the heartbeat of humanity, the pain, the hope, the fierce will to endure. And so, I invite you once more, deeply and sincerely. If this journey stirred something within you, a question, a feeling, a spark of understanding, share it. Speak your truth in the comments below. What moved you? What surprised you? What shadows or light did you find in these stories? What questions do you carry now about the lives once lived aboard these longships? Your voice is not just heard. It is a vital part of the story. Every reflection, every insight, every memory shared adds color to the tapestry of history. It breathes life into the past and shapes how we understand our world today. Thank you for traveling back through time with me, for stepping onto these ancient decks, for feeling the weight of history in your bones and heart, for being a keeper of stories, a guardian of memory. As the Longship fades into the mist, know this is not the end. It is a beginning. Your story is now woven into the fabric of history, echoing on waves, carried by winds, whispered across ages. End of story. A final breath, a quiet bow. The Longship sails on, but the story lives forever in you.